partial breast irradiation when you accelerate the treatment and deliver radiation to only the tumor bed with a margin. So the flow of my presentation will include a brief overview of the evolution of fractionation in breast cancer, the role and rationale evidence of accelerated partial breast radiation, and the role of CyberKnife robotic radiosurgery in APBI. So the standard dose fractionation for breast cancer radiation in the adjuvant setting has been 50 gray in 25 fractions over a course of 5 weeks. This was the standard being practiced for a long time. In the last 2 decades, many randomized trials from the UK, Canada, China, and Denmark have tested the concept of shortening the overall treatment time to 3 weeks compared to the standard 5 weeks of radiation. 10-year follow-up data and over 7,000 patients with this 3-week course of radiation and has been published. And now most centers in India and across the world have adopted this 3-week course of radiation as the standard treatment for adjuvant treatment in breast cancer. So you can see as we shorten the duration of treatment, the total dose that we have to deliver is lesser, and the dose per fraction that you have to deliver is more. And radiobiologically, we know breast cancer responds better to higher doses per fraction. Now in 2020, we are beginning to see the shift in principles of dose fractionation in the adjuvant setting in breast cancer radiation. The 5-year results of Fast Forward trial from UK was published in 2020. This trial compared 26 gray in 5 fractions over 1 week to the standard of 40 gray in 15 fractions over 3 weeks. And it showed that you can shorten the treatment to 1 week. It is similar in terms of local control compared to 40 gray in 15 fractions over 3 weeks, and is safe in terms of normal tissue effects up to 5 years. So the international consensus guideline for radiation therapy for breast cancer during COVID pandemic also recommended that you can treat node-negative breast cancers with 5 days radiation. And this was inspired and based on the Fast Forward 5-year results. So how safe is it to escalate the dose or the dose per fraction to breast? Increasing dose per fraction, there is a higher chance of increase in late toxicity. So when you increase dose per fraction, it is important that we spare the normal tissues as much as possible. When we increase dose per fraction from the traditional 2 gray per fraction to 2.7 gray per fraction, there was an understanding of biology which enabled us to come to the conclusion that you can increase the dose per fraction and reduce the total dose. But when we jump from 2.7 gray per fraction to 5 to 6 gray per fraction, which is ultra hypofractionated regimes, it is very important that the delivery is very safe, quality assured, and the OAR should receive as less dose as possible. So the use of technology in this setting becomes paramount. Now coming to APBI. Why APBI, or what group of patients benefit with APBI? So there is, in breast cancer, there is a low risk subset of node-negative breast cancers where most of the recurrences occur around the tumor bed, mostly in and around 1 centimeter around the tumor bed. Hence, instead of treating the entire breast with radiation, we can treat the tumor bed with margin, and that is sufficient to achieve local control. So APBI, the volume that we treat is much lesser. The median volume usually is around 100 cc. And because we are treating a lesser volume, we can escalate the dose per fraction and shorten the total duration of treatment to 1 week or less very safely. So which group of patients should we attempt APBI and which group of patients should we not do APBI? So we should not do APBI in high risk group. That is less than 40 years of age, patients with more than 3 centimeter tumor size, node positive, or with high risk features such as extensive LVSI or intraductal component, or in estrogen receptor negative patients. So this is the ASTRO eligibility classification. The American Society has classified the eligibility into suitable, cautionary, and unsuitable. Unsuitable is the group where you should not do APBI. Cautionary, you can attempt APBI in a prospective clinical setting, and suitable off trial also, very safely, APBI can be done. So the suitable patients include aged patients, that is more than 50 years of age, with less than or equal to 2 centimeter tumor size, grade 1 or 2 with no LVSI, no EIC, and estrogen receptor status positive with a minimum surgical margin of 2 millimeter. Also, the BRCA mutation should not be there, and you should never downsize the tumor to attempt APBI. So neoadjuvant chemotherapy, if given, APBI is contraindicated. Let's look at the last 4 years. What is the evidence which has come up for APBI? In the last 4 years, 5 trials has been published, 4 in Lancet and 1 in the European Journal of Cancer, dealing with the topic of APBI. As you can see, in the UK import load trial, which was published in 2017, used the standard fractionation of 40 gray in 15 fractions and delivered partial breast irradiation. They did not accelerate the treatment, but they delivered partial breast irradiation for a suitable subgroup of patients. The 5-year ipsilateral breast tumor recurrence, that is IBTR, was non-inferior when you treat partial breast versus full breast in this suitable subgroup of patients. Now, if you have to accelerate the treatment, you need to deliver very conformably. So the time-tested method of delivering radiation in terms of APBI has been the multi-catheter interstitial brachytherapy. And in 2016, 5-year results of the JECISTRO trial, which compared multi-catheter interstitial brachytherapy vis-a-vis the external beam whole breast radiation, was published. The dose that they used was 34 gray in 10 fractions twice daily, so that the treatment finishes in 5 days. You can see that the 5-year IBTR was again non-inferior. The recurrence rate was 0.92% in whole breast and 1.44% in the APBI arm. So because you're delivering more conformably, there is better toxicity profile. The late toxicity is much lesser in terms of skin and cosmesis. Now, whether non-invasive modalities, non-invasive teletherapy or external beam radiation can be used for delivering higher doses conformably. So, as you can see in the RAPID trial, which used 3D conformal radiotherapy APBI, they used a dose fractionation of 38.5 gray in 10 fractions. Now, why the higher dose in external beam radiotherapy? In brachytherapy, you can deliver a very high dose to the center of the tumor bed or just around the catheters, and the peripheral dose is lesser. So when you deliver 34 gray in 10 fractions, the center of the tumor bed in many areas will be receiving much higher dose. So, conformal radiation, you need to have a slightly higher dose in terms of total dose. So that is why they use 38.5 gray in 10 fractions, and that was given twice daily. But when you use 3D CRT or other external beam techniques, the problem is you have to treat a larger volume to make it to account for the PTV margin, which accounts for the respiration and also the setup errors that can be caused. So when you treat larger volumes, you end up having a worse cosmesis, especially when you are giving higher doses per fraction. So this trial showed that there is late toxicity and cosmesis was worse with the dose fractionation of 38.5 gray in 10 fractions twice daily. Another trial from the US, the RTOG 0413, again showed that the toxicity is comparable but slightly more in APBI, because this trial also had 3D CRT accounted in the options for APBI in treating these patients. The role of more conformal techniques came in around 2020 when the Florence trial was published from Italy, which showed that you can use IMRT, get a better toxicity profile, and still have a non-inferior ipsilateral breast tumor recurrence. They used a dose fractionation of 30 gray in 5 fractions, that is 6 gray per fraction, but to be safe, they gave it alternate daily so that the treatment finished in 2 weeks. Now, what are the more conformal techniques available? Can we use proton therapy? Can we use stereotactic radiation using CyberKnife? So there is some literature already available. The MD Anderson group has published their experience of treating APBI using proton therapy. This paper was published in 2018. 60 patients were treated using the dose fractionation of 30 gray in 10 fractions over 5 days with 3 or 4 proton beams. And as you can see, there is some erythema over the treated area, but what we reported was that this erythema disappears by around 3 months to 6 months. One important finding in the subsequent 2019 ASTRO meeting that they updated their findings. Up to 100 patients were treated, and the main finding was you have to be very careful with the skin dose. Now, one important problem with proton therapy, which is being fine-tuned now, but the initial problems when you treat with just one portal of proton beam, the skin dose will be slightly higher compared to what you treat with IMRT. So when they treat with 34 gray in 10 fractions, a skin dose of less than 35 gray lessens the chance of telangiectasia and other late toxicities. What about CyberKnife or stereotactic radiosurgery for APBI? So this is a paper from Swedish Radiosurgery Center in Seattle, USA. This was published in 2011. They treated APBI using CyberKnife. Now the advantages of and why we should or we can use CyberKnife for patients is that you'll be able to track the tumor bed by putting in fiducials in the cavity of the tumor bed, and the problem of respiratory motion, which necessitates a bigger PTB volume, is accounted for. So this is the high dose volume that you see here, and this is the low dose spill. So the main organs at risk when you're doing APBI is the skin and the rib when you're using high dose per fraction, and also the ipsilateral remaining total breast. So your delivery has to be very conformal. And to identify the tumor bed, you have to use either surgical clips in the bed, or if clips is not available, of findings, the mammogram findings, and if it's still there is confusion, then you should use an MRI to see for post-op changes to identify the area. So here they had used an MRI, a T2-weighted MRI for identifying the tumor bed, and they delivered. Initially, the 2 patients that they recruited was treated with 30 gray in 5 fractions. But at that time, because the insurance coverage, there was no published literature at that time for using ultra hypofractionated radiation in breast cancer. So the insurance coverage issues, they shifted to 34 gray in 10. Along with the Seattle Medical Center, another hospital, Winthrop University Hospital from New York, also published their experience of treating APBI with CK. And these are the pictures of the breasts after 1 year of treatment. So the breasts look almost not irradiated because the volumes are very small that we irradiate. The late toxicity is almost nil. In 2018, the UT Southwestern Medical Center published their experience in escalating the dose using CyberKnife. This was published in the Red Journal. They actually escalated the tumor bed dose up to 40 gray in 5 fractions. But again, this was done alternate daily to be in a safer scenario. Here you can immobilize the breast for proper reproducibility of positioning using a custom-made bra. Here, the right breast is getting treated. So the right breast is immobilized using the breast, and the left side, the non-treated breast, the bra is cut open so that the breast hangs laterally so that you can reduce the dose to the non-treated breast as much as possible. And you have to use strict immobilization setups. Now in Amrita Hospital, we have CyberKnife facility. We treat benign tumors, hepatocellular carcinomas, brain metastasis, oligometastasis, lung cancer and prostate cancer with radiosurgery. This was a dosimetric feasibility which we saw for a left-sided inner quadrant tumor bed APBI plan using CyberKnife. We wanted to know whether CyberKnife can have a very conformal plan as per the constraints that is available in the literature. When you treat with IMRT, always the concern is low dose spill or high dose to the skin or high dose to the. So when we did this dosimetric feasibility, we used the Florence trial fractionation of 30 gray in 5 fractions. And we could achieve, even though the tumor bed was just over the left side inner quadrant, we could achieve a mean hard dose of 1.8 gray. And if you see the low dose to the contralateral lung, the weak 5 gray is very less. And with the contralateral breast, the max dose is less than 1 gray, it's around 0.45 gray. So what is the advantage of using tracking for delivering radiation? There is no need of breath hold. The patient is absolutely comfortable while the treatment is getting delivered. Also, stereotaxy enables better normal tissue sparing compared to IMRT using linear accelerator or tomotherapy. Could it be a cost-effective alternative to protons? Maybe yes. The cost of proton therapy in our country is almost 20 to 30 times what the cost of stereotactic radiosurgery is. So we plan to conduct a pilot study looking at the feasibility and safety of stereotactic partial breast irradiation using CyberKnife. We plan to accrue 20 patients. This is the inclusion criteria. The age should be more than 50. Margin should be negative at least by 2 millimeters. And the pathological tumor size should be less than 3 centimeter, node negative, favorable histologies, estrogen receptor positive, and no risk factors such as LVSI. So how is it done? The fiducials, gold fiducials has to be placed in the tumor bed to enable tracking. This can be done either intra-op when the surgeon removes the tumor, and instead of placing the titanium clips, he can place the gold fiducials in the tumor bed. Or if the patient comes to us after surgery, then placement of the clips can be placed after surgery also. What should we treat? The clinical target volume should include the tumor bed, which should be identified by the clips or the fiducials, plus a minimum margin of 1 centimeter. And this is a lung and 5 millimeter from the skin. The margin that we need to give is very less, 2 millimeter. So the planning is done using multi-plan with Volo optimization and fiducial tracking with Synchrony. The dose, we did a BED calculation to see what dose we should use. And we see that 26.5 gray in 5 fractions daily is similar BED to 34 gray in 10 fractions. So we plan to use that dose. And as I have seen in fast forward trial, 26 gray is relatively safe. They found that 27 gray might be a bit more cosmetically inferior. So, but when we treat partial volumes with 26.5 gray, we expect lesser toxicity. And the assessment, photographic documentation will be done. We'll assess the acute toxicity using CTCA and RTOG scales. The Howard Cosmesis scale will be used to assess cosmesis, and the quality of life of the patients will be documented using EORTC, QLC30 and BR23. Secondary endpoints would be ipsilateral breast tumor recurrence, local region recurrence, any contralateral breast cancer which develops, distant metastasis, DFS and OS. So we have devised a table to offer planning optimization criteria. Important thing is the skin dose and the rib dose should be less. So the prescription dose should not go to 10 cc or more of the skin, and a max dose should not be on the rib. So to summarize, APBI with CyberKnife robotic radiosurgery is possible. You should select very low risk patients for APBI. For enabling tracking, gold fiducials are implanted either intra-op or post-op to facilitate the tracking. Using fiducial tracking ensures precise treatment delivery. It ensures smaller PTV volumes. Cosmesis remains good to excellent post-treatment. A shorter treatment time reduces burden on the patient in terms of cost and travel, and increases the access of patients to treatment, as we can treat more patients when we shorten the overall treatment time. Thank you.